Hello everyone and welcome to the Cantata tutorial run through. I am Kyle Cookstow, lead developer at After School Studio, who's just now released Cantata to the world in early access. I wanted to put together just a series of videos to kind of walk people through kind of like how to play Cantata and just walk through the basic tutorial stuff. We try to spell out for you pretty explicitly kind of how to do the tutorial and kind of what to do, but for people who don't have time or don't want to do the tutorial or want to just like watch a video instead, here I am acting as your commanding officer to show you how to do the Cantata tutorial. So we're going to start with the basic tutorial, and there'll be another video where I walk through the advanced tutorial, but for this one it's the basic tutorial, so let's get started. As part of the tutorial, we do have text that tells you kind of what to do. Once the text finishes, objectives will appear on the left side, and when you mouse over those objectives, you'll be able to see what the objective corresponds to. I'll also read the text now just so you can, you don't have to read the video as you're watching it. Hello, welcome to the Cantata tutorial. In this short match, we'll go over everything you need to get started with Cantata. We'll guide you every step of the way with these dialogue prompts. Some basics first. Use the WASD keys or click and drag the map to move around. Use the mouse scroll wheel to zoom in and out. Click on units to select them. After you click on this next dialogue prompt, select your conscript unit in the center of the map. So I also know, because I wrote the tutorial, that you can also scroll, zoom in and out, which we might have just said. So scrolling zooms in and out. I can use the WASD keys to move around. We do also have the ability to use the mouse by clicking and dragging to move the map around. And I can see here it says select the conscript. So if I select this conscript on the map by clicking, I'll complete my objective. When you select a unit, you gain access to its abilities, projects, and more. These are visible in the UI at the bottom of your screen. But let's just focus on the basics for now. Most units in Cantata have the ability to move, which you can do without interacting with the UI. Select and move your conscript to the rocky location on the map by simply clicking on a tile. If you get lost, you can mouse over the new objective on the left side of the screen to see where to move. So I can see here, if I mouse over my move objective, I can see that this area here is where I want to move to. We also use the objective system a lot for the normal campaigns. It's very useful to kind of see what we want you to do or where you should try to go. Additionally, most things can be clicked. So if you click, I can see I'll actually move to where that objective is, and then mousing over it, I can see where I need to go. So I'm going to click my conscript and move here. Great! Units in Cantata can move once per turn and will typically have to wait another turn before moving. You can move anywhere you see a blue outline around your selected unit. Oh no! An enemy has appeared! This is a great time to learn about attacking. It's fun. I wrote this tutorial, so I'm sort of reading it as a voice, but also I almost feel like I just want to say it because it's also in my voice. So we're going to learn about attacking. Similar to movement, an attack can be executed solely using the mouse. With your selected conscript, you'll be able to see an attack icon over any units that you can attack. When you mouse over an attackable unit, yours will switch into attack mode. You'll be able to see how much damage your unit can do in the tooltip over the targeted enemy. Go ahead and attack the enemy unit by clicking it while your conscript is selected. So here in my conscript, I can see by mousing over it, it's showing me that I can attack this cherubim unit. And I'm also seeing this little kind of arc line to show me that from my current position, I can attack that unit. So if I select the conscript, I can now click the cherubim to attack it. Wonderful. Your conscript can attack units directly adjacent to it as well as at a distance. However, some units can only attack at range, like the ranged recon rickshaw. We'll give you one to demonstrate. Here's my rickshaw. Select the rickshaw and move it into an attackable position. You can also easily preview a unit's attack range by hovering over the unit and pressing Q. If you do this for the rickshaw, you can see that it is unable to attack up close. Attack the enemy with the rickshaw. So if I mouse over my rickshaw, I can see that I can see its movement range highlighted in blue. But if I press the Q key, I can actually sort of switch back and forth between the range previews. So with my rickshaw hovered and pressing Q, I can sort of see that the range is, or the cherubim unit next to me is outside the range of where the rickshaw is at. So what I need to do is select my rickshaw and move it such that I can attack it. So if I select my unit and move, I can see when I move, I'll also preview my attack range where I'm moving. And if I move 2 tiles away, I can see that, okay, yeah, if I move here, I can attack this cherubim. So I'm going to do that. Now, with the unit still selected, I can mouse over this cherubim to attack it. Great job! Like moving, most units can only attack once per turn. However, many units have the ability to surge their move or attack ability. This costs some of your action points for a given round, but gives you the ability to act again. AP is your global action pool that allows you to bend the limits of what you're able to do each turn. For now, we'll just use it to surge. You can surge your rickshaw's attack ability manually by clicking the attack icon in its UI, or you can surge a unit automatically by simply attacking again, noticing that an AP cost now appears in the attack tooltip. Surge the rickshaw's attack however you choose and destroy the enemy cherubim. So let's see, so I can click my rickshaw, and if I click this button here, I can surge my attack. I can also see at the top of the screen when I mouse over or I'm doing an action that's going to use AP, that my AP will start to flicker red to indicate that AP will be used. I can also see when I hover over something, I'm actually going to change the setting real quick. First part of this video. When I hover over something normally, you can see this little yellow line will appear and then go to green. What that means is I can actually mouse into that tooltip and then get more information on anything that's underlined. So if I mouse over my current player AP here, I can see that my current player AP tells me a little bit more about action points. Many actions require action points. As you perform actions that use AP, your AP will decrease. Once you're out of AP, you cannot do any more actions that require AP. You can still do stuff that doesn't require AP. On the start of your next turn, all your AP will replenish. So as you're playing Cantata, we have a lot of those tooltips around that'll tell you more about the game. So if you kind of either have them so that they're set to the mode where the bar will fill and then they lock, or you can do what I prefer, which is put it onto mouse mode. You can lock a tooltip by pressing the middle mouse button and then mousing into stuff that way. So, and that works for basically any tooltip. However, right now I want to surge my ricksaw and destroy a cherubim. So I could click this button here in the UI, but what is normally easier to do is if you mouse over a unit after you've already attacked, it'll actually tell you in the tooltip here. I can see that if I do this, I'll surge attack, and it will tell me that my cost to do this is 5. So what this will do is it will both surge the ability and do the attack almost at the same time. Just like that. Great, you now know how to perform the most basic actions in Cantata. Let's do something more interesting. Here's another enemy for you to attack. It's pretty far away though, and would take your conscript and rickshaw a while to get there. However, many units in Cantata have the ability to load and unload other units inside of themselves. This makes it easy to move lots of units quickly across the map. This includes your rickshaw. The rickshaw is a great way to move conscripts around the map. Move your conscript close to the rickshaw and then move your conscript close to the rickshaw and then select the rickshaw. Once selected, click an open storage slot in the UI, then click your conscript. If you've run out of actions, you can end your turn using the button at the top right of the screen. So my end turn button's in the top right. At the start of your turn, units will refresh and be ready to act again, which we also just learned by reading that tooltip about AP. So let's see, if I select my rickshaw and in my storage panel here, I click one of my slots. I can see that I have a storage range of 2 tiles, but because the conscript's not in my range yet, I need to select my conscript and then move them into that range. So I'm just going to select my conscript and move. Then I'll select my rickshaw, click load, click the conscript, and now it's loaded into my storage. Well done! You've loaded the conscript into the rickshaw. Go ahead and move your rickshaw towards the distant enemy, surging your move ability if you prefer. Note that you can only surge the ability to move an attack once per turn per unit. We'll see you again once you reach the distant enemy. So, just worth noting, movement and attacking are able to both be surged independently. So if I surge something's move capability, I could also still potentially surge its attack capability. However, I can't surge move twice in one turn. So at max, units can have basically 2 moves, 2 attacks per turn at the cost, obviously, of some AP. So I'm going to select my rickshaw and move it a little closer. And let's see. I just surged move to actually do that action, and I can see my AP is also gone. And because I can't move without surging again, I will end my turn. So let's see. I can see move to the far enemy. If I mouse over this, it looks like I want to sort of get in range of that cherubim. So I'm going to select that unit and move up. And I can move one more time. I should be in range. There we go. Nicely done. You can see how moving and surging allows you to move with ease across the map. Now that you've got your rickshaw here, you can unload your conscript to help in the battle. To unload, select your rickshaw and select the storage slot your conscript is in. You'll see an unload range appear around your rickshaw, and mousing over it will show a preview of the conscript. Click on one of the highlighted tiles to unload your conscript onto that space. So I'm going to click a rickshaw, and I'm going to click my storage slot here. And when I click a storage slot, what it will automatically do is it will try to start unloading whatever's inside that slot. So storage slots in Cantata can only have one type of unit per slot. This one has a conscript, so what it's going to do when I mouse over here is try to unload my conscript that I have in that slot. So I'll do that. Great! You now know how to load and unload units. Many unit types have storage, and many can load and unload. Use this to efficiently move across the map with lots of units. To end this portion of the tutorial, take out the final cherubim with your conscript and rickshaw. So let's just take a shot with my unloaded conscript. And I'll select my rickshaw, do some damage, and then because I can already surge and I want to try to kill this cherubim, I will click this to destroy it. You did it! You now know the absolute basics of Cantata. Now let's talk about base building. Join me on the other side of that. While you'll definitely be doing a lot of moving and attacking in Cantata, you also need to have a strong base. Your ability to win will not be determined by tactics alone, but also by your ability to build a strong production network. Let's talk about how to do that. When you start Chapter 1, you'll have access to a headquarters just like this. There's a headquarters. For your faction, the Reign, the headquarters is your base of operations. When you select it, you'll see that it has more options than the conscript or rickshaw. It has two major features, the ability to generate resources and the ability to make your first supply lines. When a building generates, it will consume some amount of your global supply and put a resource type into its storage. For the HQ, that's alloys. Don't worry, there are also tooltips in case you forget. You can adjust how much a building will generate at the start of the turn. Click the up or down arrow on the Generate UI in order to change how many alloys you'll produce. Set the generate amount to 0. So that was a lot of text. However, we can see over here on our objectives list that my objective has appeared. So I want to set the HQ generate to 0. Using the generate adjustment arrows on the HQ, adjust your generated amount to 0. So I'm going to go in here and click my HQ. And then I can see here, so this is what I can build. This is my storage. These are my supply lines, which we'll learn about shortly. And then I can also have this generate panel here. And if I even mouse over this, I can see that I can increase or decrease my draw based on this tooltip. And so I want to set this generate to 0. Right now I'm generating 1. And I will put this down to go to 0. By changing how much supply your HQ generates, you can control the flow of resources into your base. Not only this, but your pool of global resources, visible at the top of the screen, is limited. You can now see your resource amount shows that you will consume 0 resources at the start of your next turn. You'll need to use your resources wisely so you don't prematurely run out of supply. However, scattered across each map are some resource nodes like this one, right here. Resource nodes act like the opposite of your HQ. By mining their resources, you'll add to your global resource pool each turn. To build a mining facility, open up your infrastructure panel at the top of the screen using the yellow hammer button. Once open, click the mining facility infrastructure and click on the resource node to place it. Be sure to click on the same tile as the resource node. If you misplace the mining facility, you can use the red X in its menu to self-destruct and try again. So let's see, I want to build a mining facility. It says using the infrastructure menu at the top of the screen. Yep, so that's basically exactly what it said. I'm going to click this menu. I can see here, these are things I can build. And I can see that this first one in my list is this mining facility. So I'm going to click that. And then if I mouse over on the map, I can see that I have an invalid placement location. It must be built on a resource node. And I can even lock that tooltip and mouse over a resource node. And it says, resource nodes are tiles with stores of global resources that can be mined by certain buildings for a certain amount per turn. Resource nodes only have a finite amount of resources. So my computer lagged for a second. So see, I can build a mining facility here. Great, you just built your first infrastructure and now have some resource income. Mining happens automatically at the start of your turn as long as there are resources remain to be mined. But what to do with those resources? You may have seen that other infrastructures like the garage or refinery cost resources to build. Additionally, many infrastructures can build units which also cost some amount of resources. So let's build a unit. Go back to the infrastructure menu and place down a refinery such that it becomes connected to the HQ. If you mess up, you can destroy the unit by clicking the red X in its UI. So I'm gonna mess up just so we can see what that looks like. So I want to place this such that I can connect to my HQ, and it looks like I can already place it here. And that's what I'm seeing by that dotted line. So if I click this, oh, here we go. You're getting good at this. The building you just placed down, a refinery, is able to take in the HQ's alloys and convert that into fuel. By placing it in range of your HQ, the HQ automatically connected one of its supply lines to the refinery. At the start of each turn now, as long as there are enough alloys in the HQ, your refinery will receive an alloy. Your refinery can then turn alloys into fuel, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Place down the engine factory, ensuring that it is also in range of the HQ. If you're out of AP to build, you can end your turn. AP refreshes at the start of each turn. So just to continue what I was saying before, I'm going to select my refinery, and let's say I put it in the wrong position. I can click this X here. Oh, I don't actually have enough AP, so I'll end my turn. And if I click this, I can click this X to self-destruct, and so that gets rid of that unit. However, I do still need the refinery for the tutorial, so I'm going to go ahead and build another one here. And then now I also need to build an engine factory. So let's see, I have a mining facility, a garage, there's my refinery, and here's my engine factory. So I'll place that here. Great. If you look at the HQ's UI, you'll see that two of its output supply lines are connected. However, one of your lines may have changed color and is now showing an exclamation mark symbol. So I can see I have two exclamation mark symbols here, one on each of these connected supply lines. This is because you don't have enough supply in your HQ storage in order to satisfy both lines' requirements. This is easy to fix. You increase your HQ's generated amount to pump more supply into your system. Or if you're okay with the current setup, you can set a line's priority by clicking the star in its UI panel. We've got tooltips for this, but just want to give you a heads up. To avoid the bottleneck for now, just increase your HQ's generation amount to 2. So my HQ right now, I can see, because we set it to 0 as part of the tutorial, if I look up here, I can see that I'm actually, oops, the tooltip seems to, oh, there we go. So I can see here, if I look at my supply tooltip, I have 77 resources remaining. I'm getting 5 in from my income from my mining facility. And then, nope. My tooltip is strange. Oh, weird. I don't know why it's not working. There we go. And I can see my generator pool right now is 0. However, what I want to do is increase my generator pool because I do need some alloys to come into my supply network. So I can do that by clicking here. And so I've increased that to 2, and you can also see that that +3 has now, or that +5 went to +3 because I'm now using 2 of that those resources, so I'm only gaining effectively 3 per turn. Now let's build a unit. First, we'll need to place the garage. However, the current region we are in has run out of space for new infrastructure. Cantata's maps are split up into regions, and each region has a limited amount of infrastructure that can be placed on it. Regions can also be controlled by players, often granting them victory points, additional infrastructure slots, and more. You'll need to capture a new region then to build a garage. Region capture is done through placing units that apply pressure into a region, tipping the balance into your favor. The primary way the rain exerts pressure is through banners in which conscripts can build. And the primary way the rain builds conscripts is through their mobile tower transport. Place a tower transport on the map via your infrastructure menu and unload one of its conscripts. So if I go back to my infrastructure menu here, I can see that I have my tower transport. And I can see here that my tower transport costs 2 AP and 10 supply. So right now I do still have enough AP to build it, and I have enough supply. And I can see that because it's green, I can do it. And also both those costs at the bottom of the tooltip down here are set up to, they're both green, so they're good to go. So I'm going to click my tower transport and then place it on the map. And now I need to also unload one of my conscripts. So I'm going to click my tower transport, click a conscript, and then I'll unload it. Great. Now we're really playing Cantata. Move your conscript into the neutral region, and then using their build panel, build a banner in that region. So I'm going to select my conscript I just moved. Oh, and because I just unloaded my conscript, and it was just built, it's currently in cooldown, so I have to wait until my next turn until I can move it. So I'm going to move it up there. And then now I can mouse over this. So my royal banner is going to cost me 2 AP and 15 supply. So banners are expensive, but they are the things that are used to capture regions. So if you place one down, you do want to defend it. So let's do that. You did it. You can see the outline of the region change color to green, indicating that you now own it. So there's my green outline there. Most of the reign's infrastructure requires you to own a region in order to build on it. Now, with the new region under your control, place down a garage such that it would be connected to your refinery and engine factory. If you mess up, you can destroy buildings using the red X in the build panel, which we saw before. So I want to build a garage. One other small tip, if you want to see the current state of a region, you can mouse over it like this. And I can see here in my tooltip, here's my region. It's called new region. I have 0 out of 3 infrastructure in it. It's giving me 5 population, which is, we'll talk about that more in the advanced tutorial video, 2 victory points. And I can also see here that this is how much pressure I'm exerting. And then I can, these first 2 little squares, the leftmost one would mean that it's owned by an enemy and it'd be red. The middle is would be gray, means it's neutral. And because it's green, it means that I own it. However, if you don't want to mouse a tooltip, you can also press the R key. And then you'll see at a glance these 2 little things that tell you basically the same thing. So if you really want a quick view of what's going on in a region, you can press this button. And I often play with that on. But what I want to do now, I want to build a garage. So I'm going to click my infrastructure menu. You can also press B to bring up your infrastructure menu. And I'm going to click my garage. And let's build it such that I can get resources from both of these. There. Exciting! You've built a garage and now have supply lines flowing into it. If you select the garage, you'll see its input lines on the left side of the screen, indicating how much supply it will get on your next turn. Supply takes time to propagate. Buildings will only receive supply if the sender has enough supply in its own storage to produce its target supply type. Once you have enough supply in the garage's storage, you can build a new rickshaw. I'll be back once you've built your rickshaw. So let's see. So if I click my garage on the left here, I can see that I have 2 supply lines that should be giving me 1 engine and 1 oil per turn. However, I can see that they have issues here, but I can also see that here. And so this needs more fuel to produce this. It looks like that needs alloys. And then the same thing here. This will produce this engines, but also needs alloys. And I think we should be set up. So yeah, so if I look at my HQ here, I currently have 2 alloys in its storage. So at the start of the next turn, it's going to use one of these alloys to produce an alloy to this refinery, and use one of these alloys to produce an alloy to this engine factory. And then let's see what happens then. Yep, and so now that alloy has arrived in my storage here on my refinery, and it's also arrived on my engine factory. And then this turn, I can now see that those exclamation marks have gone away, because now at the start of my next turn, I'll produce an engine and an oil, both end up in the storage of my garage. Also, it's worth saying, we do have tech trees in the game for the 3 core factions, the Reign of Harmony and Prosper, which are the human faction, the Unified Spirit, which is the machine faction, and the People of Sun and Shadow, which are the alien faction. And if you click this blue button right here, you can see a better breakdown of the faction tech tree. So here's kind of what we've been doing, right? So we're building our garage. And so to build the garage and build our rickshaw, we need engines and fuel. And we can see that to get that, we need the engine factory and the refinery. And those need alloys from the headquarters, kind of flowing in that way. So if you ever get lost trying to build a production chain, let these tech trees guide you. So I want to build a rickshaw, and if I look here, I've got 1 oil and 1 engine. My rickshaw will take 2 engines and 3 oil, so I'm going to have to end my turn a few times to kind of let the resources flow through. In Cantata, generally, we're also not big sticklers about turn counts, so if you ever feel like you just need 1 more action, it's often pretty safe to end your turn unless you're in a very tense battle and you need to, maximize what you're doing. But so here now I have 3 oil and 3 engines, and I can now build my rickshaw plus 3 AP. Here we go. Glory be. Another rickshaw for the Reign. And not only that, but you finished the tutorial. You now know not only how to move and attack, but base building basics, region capture, resource control, and more. There's still a few advanced mechanics to learn in the game that you may run into, but rest assured you're well set up for success. And again, there's another video that's going to be on this channel where I walk through the advanced tutorial in the same way I walk through this video. So if you want to watch that video, probably see the link in the description, or maybe I can't really point in this little screen, but there'll be something maybe around here that suggests to watch the advanced tutorial as well. Thanks so much for getting to the end. It will be well worth it. And on a personal note, thank you for giving Cantata a go. Speaking to myself here. Victory. So here we beat the tutorial, completed the mission. I'm gonna go back to the main menu and I'm gonna end this video and we will start up the next video going through the advanced tutorial in the same way I just went through this video. So if you're down for the ride, I'll see you then.